Okay, so let's start with that. That's a good one. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about being in a state of need, which is a form of a state of mind, right? Like that was something that I really needed to face. Um, I was constantly in a state of need, and I didn't really even know. I was never really consciously aware of just how much I really needed shit to happen in order for me to be okay or happy until, Matt and we were talking and he had let me know that I was in a constant state of need. And my response was, what was my response?
No, no, yeah. So that's the really funny part is that, you know, it, it, so even like in real time, it's like I was really recognizing like, wow, needing things, not needing things, like not needing things is a cool state of mind of kind
Right.
of being. And so I kind of got more into that state of like I didn't need anything. And then so as your awareness changes, everything around you changes. And then I noticed that you were really in a state of need, but I had the understanding, like if you tell somebody that that's what they are, they're usually like, oh hell no.
Especially me. Like
And so
I'm hard
I
headed that
asked the
way.
question,
Yeah.
like, are you in a state of need? And the answer was no. So then when she would say, okay, and she was trying to manipulate the situation for something that I could tell her she's needing something, I'd say, are you needing something? And she'd go, no, nope,
I don't need anything.
I don't need anything.
That's what I would say.
Then she would, about a minute later, and she would be doing something that she was needing something, obviously. And I'm going, are you needing something now? And she'd go, no, nope, not needing anything. And
And that's all I was doing. That was like my state. Like I was
but
just
you were
needing
actually
all
answering
kinds of
that.
things, right?
Do you mean like, so when we go back to that time, do you mean that you were kind of like, you really meant it? Like, no, you didn't even notice that you were needing something? Or what was when you were saying no, or was it like, oh gosh, damn him. Like, I'm not going to give him the peace of mind that, or what was it? What was the thing when you
Yeah,
remember
good
that?
question. Yeah, I feel like it was both. Like
Mm.
really, of course, like when you brought that up, I remember thinking about it slightly and thinking, what is he talking about? No, I don't need anything.
Mm.
Like that was kind of like my reaction to it. But also like, because you do point out things in me that like, are good things that I, need to focus on and grow into
Yeah.
for the better. And it was kind of like, okay, yeah, sure. Like,
Mm.
yep, I get it, what you're saying.
So fast
I
forward
don't
to
know.
now, what
Yeah,
you're actually recognizing is what?
that I was in a constant state of need. Like when we really had talked about it. See, that's the thing is that like I've had to work on those listening skills. Like I wasn't really listening, you know. And I think that a lot of the times when you're in that state and you're not even consciously aware of it, um, and you're like, yeah, I already know, you're closed off. Like you're not going to receive any, new feedback.
You can't, right?
Like you're not going to receive anything. And so sometimes, well, I say sometimes, but most of the time you just have to set that aside and maybe listen
Mm.
and you can learn from it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times, especially with you, because I feel like you are a mindset coach. Like that's what you do. You listen to people, you listen to their challenges and what they're facing, and you like pretty much diagnose them in a way that like you find their block, you find what it is that whatever state they're in,
Yeah.
you discover that about them and open that up for them
Yeah.
to
I'm always
where
listening in terms of how you're programmed.
there you go. Yeah, like that's what you're doing. You're listening to my programming
Mm-hmm.
and you're good about finding it and bringing it to the surface. And sometimes, well, for most people, and I struggle with it too, is I had a hard time looking at that. It was like, whether you're just in denial or you're just not ready to face it, you're not open, you find things to just say like, sure, yeah, okay, yeah, that's something I'll work on. But you don't really realize it until you see yourself in that state, and then you stop yourself, and then you are like, oh wow, yeah, like I'm aware right now, man, I'm constantly in a state of need.
Holy crap. Like it hits you a lot of
like
times,
it
right?
hits you sometimes, like it's in that way.
So
So I'm becoming a better listener in that way, because before it would be something I would justify, right? Or rationalize, or always say, oh yeah, I already know. Like, yeah, I know I'm in a state of need. Like, I get it. Or just, no, I'm not in a state of need. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Right?
some kind
So
of rejection.
Exactly. Rejection to it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the times that's what we're rejecting, and we don't even know it.
For sure. Like,
Am I making sense here?
Yeah, you are. So that's I think one of the biggest challenges with coaching, and it's just like a let go of needing something, like needing the person to understand. Because when you hear it and you see it and you know what it is, it's very interesting how we receive things as humans. Is that if you just say, hey, this is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
most people, if they're not aware or
Mm-hmm.
highly aware, which is why they're coming to me in the first place, they're not. The state is, from a less aware point of view, is rejection of the thing.
Right.
But if the person discovers it on their own, or in some way, shape, or form discovers it, and then it's like a aha moment, then that's a really powerful moment.
Yes.
And so,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Yes. And that was kind of like how this all transpired with me being in that state. You were telling me that, but I was rejecting it. And it wasn't until like I discovered it on my own. I had that aha moment of like, shit, Matt's right. Like, I am in a constant state of need. So, but that was through my own discovery of it.
So can I ask you a question now?
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest trigger is now for you to recognize that, oh, I'm in a state of need? Like, what's happening for you when you see that?
What's happening? That's a good question. Like, you mean like, how do I become aware in that moment?
Yeah, if you just walk through that moment and you go, oh, now you're really recognizing when you're in a state of need. Like, what triggers you usually? Like, what are you feeling?
Like, I feel like I'm needing to control something, or I feel like there might be some guilt going on.
Yeah.
Like I'm guilting myself. So I need to just shout out orders.
There's pain there.
Yeah. So I think that's, it's a lot of like, worrying about something, wanting to control it, some type of fear behind that, obviously, right? Like, so then, you take a step back and you're like, okay, well, I was in a state of need, or in a state of lack, really, because we talk about that too. That's another one.
Because the quicker that you can find the trigger, the quicker you can start replacing it with. And what fixes needing is that, oh, I'm okay. Like going back to a state like I don't need anything.
So
simplistically speaking, all you need is to be pulling air in your lungs and blowing it out.
Yeah.
Like that's really all we need to sustain this for a while, and then you'll need some food and some sleep and stuff like that. But that's the basic needs of life, and if those things are met, you can move up from there. But aside from that, like as long as that's going on, like we can just start to build from there. But I asked you that because the quicker we can find the triggers for that moment, which is basically usually something that you can call pain, the sooner you can be able to go, oh, I'll switch it. Right. And then what you're doing at that point is you're reprogramming yourself to not be in a state of need, because you went from no awareness. It was, just unconscious happening all the time in a state of need.
Yeah.
And now it comes up into awareness. You go, oh, I recognize that I'm there. And now what you want to do is you want to be switching it. And you're going to be switching it to, oh, no, everything's okay. That's fine. And then that's what really changes your life.
Yeah.
is because your life starts to respond to that fact that you just constantly feel like things are okay. And that's the
Mhm.
magical place for people is that you'll see other people are like, well, what the hell? It seems like everything always works out for that person. It's always really good.
Yeah.
It's a state
Yeah,
that's
it's a
actually
state.
drawing that to them, and it's they're conditioned at that point if it's programmed into them to receive it. I ask you that
Yeah.
because the biggest pain when you make things ridiculously simple, like
Mhm.
we do here at M3, is the biggest pain that you're ever going to experience in your life is to need something and feel
Mhm.
like you're not going to be able to get it.
Yes.
That's it.
And I think that that's it for
Always.
me, always,
Yeah, that
most of
can
the
be
time.
your fitness results, that can be
Mhm.
relationship stuff, that can be business, it could be
Mhm.
money, it can be whatever. Is that
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I really need this thing and I feel separate from it. I'm not going to get it. And we try to figure out all of the ways that, we could do all that. And it's infinite. It turns out the things that you could do. So you're never going to wade through all those things.
Mhm.
What's going to happen is you're going to line up with those things based on that you're feeling like you have it already. And
Mhm.
now that path starts to get shown differently to you. Like, oh, you
Right.
heard this person differently. You're going to take this action now. And
Mhm.
that's the ultimate thing is that it causes you to go out and interact with your world different. And because you start interacting with your world differently, it gets different results.
Right. Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I like that. So I felt like that was a big thing to really discuss because I feel like a lot of the times that's really where we kind of base our attitude on, right?
Yeah.
Is that whatever's happening at that moment in time when you're needing something. And so then when you're in that state already and you have some type of expectation in your mind, obviously, right? When you're in that state of need. And so, in order to be happy and, oh, okay, I'm going to get my way, that thing has to be fulfilled. Like that expectation has to be fulfilled. And that's where you really just screw yourself.
Yeah, right.
Because
If I don't get that,
yeah,
I'm going to be really messed up or something.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, therefore, if I don't get that expectation or result, then I'm going to be upset or frustrated. And then, so then that state just continues.
Yeah.
And then whatever. I feel like that's another thing too, is that because I have that expectation sometimes of like, how things should go, right? That sign that says, what is it? I'm not bossy. I just know what you should be doing. Yeah. Sometimes I walk in a room and I'm with that state of mind and
Right.
it's like, whoa.
Yeah. But now you're aware.
Simmer. Yeah, exactly. Just, yeah. Like, so when you're in that state and those things don't go your way in your expectation, then you're just going to carry it on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to keep looking for it and you're going to keep seeking it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in that constant state. And that's what the universe is sending you.
Over and over again. It's working perfectly.
Yes, it is. So anyway, well, thank you. I really wanted to talk about that. And you are the guy to help me overcome that and see it for what it is. And that's it. Bodhi. He's over here making some strange sounds.
He needs something.
That was Bodhi. He's not even in the camera. Yeah, will he be in the camera? There he is now. Oh, there you are.